We have big news. We have exciting news for you. Tell them what it is, Serena.
We are super excited to announce that we are starting our first membership this January 2024.
Yay! Membership.
So we're excited to let you know that we will be hosting a monthly membership where when you join, you will be
With us live in a Zoom room once a month for a workshop like we just hosted. It's going to be a workshop like that, one topic each month, a different topic. You might even help us come up with the following month's topic from inside our membership. Super excited to meet you. It was so fun meeting a few of you in our inaugural workshop. So we're really looking forward to that.
And when you are a member, you will also be receiving a monthly newsletter where I'm going to be a little more intimate and I'll be sharing the things that are working and the things that aren't working for me.
Yeah, like taking a tool that you've learned from the podcast and how you're implementing it and how well that worked, or maybe if it didn't work. And then Amma can put in my 2 bits worth. We'll see how that goes. But a membership newsletter and a membership live Zoom room workshop starting in January 2024. You can sign up through our Patreon link in the show notes. Yeah.
Yes, everything will be in the show notes, and we can't wait to see you there, listeners.
We can't wait. Yay.
Hey, parents, welcome back to the Nurturing Parent Podcast. And if it's your first time here, welcome, welcome. We're so happy to have you join us. For this week's episode, we have another listener Q&A, and I love these because it's just so real and I can always relate to them. And this week, we have a mama that is struggling with her 18-month-old who is going through the biting phase. I can relate because my 18-month-old is going through the slapping phase, and my 3-year-old is going through this like screaming at the top of her lungs, and it really gets me going. If you want to learn more about how we can deter these unwanted behaviors, why they're happening, and what we can do to respond to them, stay right here and let's get into this week's episode.
Hey, Mama. Welcome to the Nurturing Parent Podcast. Do you want to end the constant battles for bath time? Do you find yourself emotionally exhausted at the end of the day? Do you wake up with big hopes for a smooth day of fun with your little ones, only to face an early morning meltdown because you peeled their banana the wrong way?
Silly you.
Silly you.
Hey, I'm Serena. I'm a mama of 2 little ones, and as a new mama, I constantly questioned myself. I wanted to make sure I was raising respectful kids while also building a strong bond with them. But I discovered that I had to unlearn my ideas that punishment was the way. With Amma Lisa's encouragement, I've been practicing a respectful and gentle parenting approach, which is strengthening our bond as a family.
And hi, I'm Amma Lisa. Amma means grandmother in Icelandic. I am a mama and an Amma. And I have over 40 years of experience in childcare and parent coaching. And I am so excited to share the knowledge I've gained over these years with you.
Together in this podcast, each week we will explore some easy to implement skills you can add to your parenting tool belt to help you create a happy, thriving family.
We just have to say that we love getting your questions, listeners. We love getting your responses to the podcast because otherwise we have no idea if you're even out there. But you are, and Maureen wrote to us recently. So today we have another listener Q&A. Thank you, Maureen, for writing to us with your situation. And here's what Maureen wrote. My 18-month-old is biting or grabbing without letting go. Previously, we would model gentle hands. And when we would say gentle, she would release her grip and copy the example that we were providing. When she would bite, we would model pretending. And we would say, pretend. And she would release her bite and pretend. Recently, she has stopped responding to these cues and will not release. Ouch, that sounds really painful.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are finally able to get her to let go, she laughs. we're not sure what to try next. Thanks. Oh my goodness. Okay, there's a lot here. And what I've decided to do for you today is really focus on the biting part of this. I want you to know that toddlers and biting often go together. Not every toddler will bite, but sometime between 14 months and 3-ish years old, you may experience some biting from your toddler, which is shocking when it first happens. Oh my goodness. And this one looks like and sounds like it's a bit of a pattern that's developed now, one of those relationship dances that we want to change your steps to, mom and dad. Okay, so let's have a look. First of all, I always really love to acknowledge what you are doing and the parts that we're working. I love that you were modeling gentle hands, that you were using the gentle words, and as I did, you were likely using a gentle tone of voice. That's all really great. And it stopped working after a while, so we'll get to that. But it did work for a while, and it is those are very good things to do. When I read that you were modeling the pretending, as in the bite, pretending to bite, I have to say that's not actually the direction I would go. Biting is not okay. Biting hurts. And if your child is biting, an 18-month-old, a 2-year-old, even a 3-year-old might not be able to really differentiate the difference between a real bite and a pretend, especially in the moment when biting's happening. So that wouldn't be my go-to place. And we'll get to my many options of places to go with that in a moment. But like I said, biting can be especially triggering and challenging for us parents. And when they bite and then laugh or hurt us in some way or do something that they know they shouldn't be doing and then laugh, oh my gosh, that's like the worst, right?
It gets under your skin.
Oh, it just is like, what is going on now? I want you to know that smiling and laughing are sometimes actually a form of tension release. You might not know that, but think about somebody who might have a nervous laugh. That person might have high anxiety or high kind of stress and tension all the time, and they kind of have a nervous laugh when they're in a situation. Or if, yourself, if somebody says something to you that hits you in a way and you're like, you don't quite know how to respond, but you're feeling upset about it, you might giggle a little bit. That's the tension release that laughing can be. So don't take it personally. They're not doing it to bug you and hurt your feelings even more, I promise. Inappropriate laughing can happen when a child is a little overstimulated. And perhaps she might be overly concerned about what's happening, but doesn't know how to express those feelings, doesn't know how to express what she's experiencing in that moment or those moments. So one of the things that we can do with that is give them some words to use. And your 18-month-old might not be able to say these sentences, but we're going to give them the words anyway, right? Serena, you've learned that with giving them more words than you think they can understand, or certainly than they can say, right?
Yeah.
So here's something that you could try. I get that you have big feelings right now, and that's okay. I'm here to help guide us through together. Let's take some deep belly breaths. And don't even speak directly about the laughter itself. Just give that child what she needs, which is some calming and some co-regulating, like we talk about a lot, right? Okay, now, why do children bite? Let's get into this. Like I said, biting in toddlerhood is pretty normal. Some children will never bite. That's normal too. But within the realm of normal, biting often happens with toddlers. Why? Why? We get so triggered by it. It's like your angelic little baby has just turned around and bit you or bit dad or bit their sibling or bit a friend. And you're just like, oh my gosh, what just happened? All right. Here's a whole bunch of reasons why biting might happen. I don't know if you know, but we humans feel a lot of tension in our mouths and jaws. It's the first place we feel tension in our bodies. Biting can be a form of oral release. We can feel a release from the tension when we bite. I want you to think about adults who eat or drink or smoke to relieve tension. That's what biting can do too, right? Basic, ground level, good to know. Another thing that's really good to know is toddlers have sensory needs and a need for sensory exploration. So I'm going to give you some of the reasons, one reason at a time, and then what you could offer to alleviate that reason. And as we go through this list, I want you to think about your toddler and the situations where they might be biting and which of these reasons that they might be biting could be the key to your situation. And here's an offering of what to do to alleviate that problem. So this one is a toddler has sensory needs and a need for sensory exploration. So the offer up opportunities to experience a variety of different kinds of food, different textures, crunchy or chewy, apple slices, crackers, celery, peanut butter, raisins. Okay, different textures. Could be really, really cold food like frozen fruit or chunks of popsicles. That could give them some sensory exploration that they need. Another one is that their motor skills in their mouths, motor means muscle in child development. Okay. So the motor muscle skills in their mouths, that's our jaws, our teeth, our tongue, the palate inside our mouth, the roof of our mouth, our throats, our shoulders, like all these body systems, our lungs, all these body systems that are in action when we're talking and when we're growing and learning about the world. Their motor skills in and around their mouth are developing. So offering those different textured foods can help with this development as well. And things like bubble blowing with a straw or straw painting, or blowing dandelion seeds are really good for motor development. And don't you love how nature provides for us? Nature provides dandelion seeds, and every single toddler I've ever known is madly in love with dandelion seeds and blowing them and making those wishes, right? So realize that when they're doing these silly, fun activities, it's actually good for those developing muscles. Okay. Of course, an obvious one for a younger child might be that they're have some teething pain or discomfort. So offering them a teething necklace or a teething ring, or sometimes just a cold, damp cloth to chew on can be really soothing. I used to put, this was something that I think my mom taught me or her mom taught her, an ice cube in a cloth with an elastic band around it to keep the ice cube in the cloth. And then they just suck and chew on that. It's a really good one. Your child might be hungry, thirsty, or tired, and then the biting happens. In any of these situations, all of us lose our ability to, be reasonable and cope with things, right? If it's hunger, they might just be feeling the need to chew on something, but not relate it to hunger specifically yet. they might need more developmental understanding of their body's signals. What you can offer is some words. If you're hungry, I need you to tell me with words, not biting. And I really recommend offering to teaching them some sign language, really simple signs. There's a sign for food, and there's a sign for please, and they're very simple, and you can look them up online, and I really strongly recommend it, because children who cannot make the words yet with those still developing muscles in their mouths will be able to make these signs. It really helps with the development. So if a child is hungry or thirsty or tired, we need to deal with those things first. If it's a tired situation, I know it's late, you're tired, biting is not okay, let's just get you into bed. That kind of thing. Your child might be overstimulated. This could be another reason why biting is happening. So after daycare or school, if they're biting, at transition times, it's good to offer lots of opportunities to run off that excess energy and relieve that pent-up stress that they might have from daycare or school. So if you're noticing that those are times that biting's happening, that could be the problem, this overstimulation. It could be understimulation. So if they're just sitting around and maybe they've been on screens, which is a weird combination of overstimulation for the brain, ping, ping, pinging along, but understimulation for really deep brain activity, then offering that large movement opportunity could be really good. Again, outside time, really good, and lots of sensory activities. So maybe, Serena, you could pop into the notes below this episode about the sensory bin episode. We'll point to that episode. I want you to keep in mind also that sometimes positive things can overstimulate a child or overstress a child, even if it's excitement. They can have a lot of big emotions that they need to manage. And again, here, sensory play can really, really help with unwinding from stress or anxiety that might have built up during the day. So when they come home from daycare, if there's time, I don't know what time that is in your family, but if there's even half an hour of time for them, have a sensory play, a water play, or a Play-Doh table set up for them when they get home so that they can get their anxiety out that way, and it doesn't have to come out through their teeth and your skin. Okay. And if you have it set up and ready for them when they get home, all the better. A young child is also learning a lot about cause and effect. So think about the child that is in the high chair and drops a fork or a spoon off the side of the high chair. And you may react by going, oh my gosh, I have a big reaction. And then they may take their bowl, and hopefully it's a non-breakable, and they're going to hold it above the place where the other thing just dropped and made cool sounds, and they're going to look at you and drop the bowl. Now, instead of you going, don't you do that, and having a big reaction, you need to know that they're learning cause and effect. It's not okay to drop your bowl. The bowl stays on the table. So if they're learning about cause and effect like that, this could be something that happens when their teeth meet your skin or someone else's skin and they get a reaction. What kind of reaction am I going to get? So my offer there, if they're learning about cause and effect, which is an annoying one, but it's very real and very possible that that's what they're aiming for. My offer there is to offer them no big reactions, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And if it is that bowl dropping over the side, then just you take it in your hands and you spoon feed them the rest of that meal. Don't play the pick up and put it down again game. They also might be growing their need for autonomy, their independence. They are developing a sense of power and control in their lives. This is directly related to cause and effect. So I want you to offer them choices and independence opportunities in which to grow their independence. Their growing autonomy. If you're saying, yes, we have to get your teeth brushed right now, and they're grabbing the side of your hand that has the toothbrush in it and chomping down on it, they're saying, I want to do it myself, possibly, right? So they're pushing their way of saying, no, you don't get to be the boss of me. So if that is happening, offering them some choices. Do you want to brush your teeth right now, or should mama help? And if they don't start brushing their teeth, you need to brush them now, or I will help, because we need to get our teeth done. I'm going to brush mine while you brush yours, and you start doing yours to model the behavior, right? So that growing autonomy. And another one could be language development is still a work in progress. Your child might have a ton of big, big feelings, and most toddlers do. And most toddlers lack the language skills to express those feelings, to express themselves adequately. So I want you to practice offering the language that goes with the situation. And again, even though your little one may not be able to say the words yet, they will learn from your lead. Okay. For example, you didn't like it when Johnny grabbed the toy you were playing with. You tell him with words, my turn, not with your teeth. Or, you wanted to play with that toy your sister had. Really, really badly you wanted it. I get that. You need to use your words, not your teeth. Say, can I have a turn when you're done, please? Or for a even younger child, my turn, right? So give them the words. And in doing those kinds of giving them the vocabulary, you're modeling what to say. You're teaching them the language of what to say, and you're acknowledging that they're frustrated about what's happening. And that's why they resorted to biting. It's not ridiculous to talk to a very young child in this way. Again, I've said this before, but when I worked in under threes daycare with 14, 1.5 and 2.5-year-olds, I used this offering them the language all the time, all day long. And it really, really helps. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I use it with my 1.5-year-old and also with my 3.5-year-old.
Yes. Yes.
It starts from when they're babies. We have an episode on that one too.
We do. You could look that one up. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. A million reasons to be talking to your babies. Yeah. Another reason why biting might happen is they lack the ability for sharing. Recently, we had a sharing episode. Let's pop that number in the notes as well, the show notes. Okay. So they see a toy, as in the example above. They want that toy really badly. They try grabbing it from the other child. And if that isn't successful, they bite in frustration. And here again, as I just said, you offer the acknowledgement of the feelings and the words for the situation, right? You didn't like it. You wanted to have that turn. It was frustrating for you that you couldn't have a turn yet. My turn now, please. Right? Just offer them the words. And the last one that I wrote down about why they might be biting is they might be trying to get our attention. They might have a need for connection, and it will get our attention for sure, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the offer here obviously is lots and lots of opportunities for connection throughout the day, especially preempting those transition times where the behavior might be happening. Okay, what to do, what to do, what to do. Prevention is always best. I want you to have an eagle eye. If you have a biter, you need to watch what's happening and intervene before that bite happens. Do not let the biting even happen as often as possible. You need to be fully present in each of the situations where the biting's happening. And it can seem random at first, but it can sort of have a bit of a form. Maureen did say that it was often during diapering time, or there was another specific time that it was happening. And so, start watching for noticing, after daycare time. And she thought it was because she was hungry. Okay, so prevention. And I want you to watch for the pattern around the timing of when the biting is happening. If it's a need for connection, give them that before the biting happens. If it's a need for food, when they pick up their little one, Maureen's little one from daycare, and she's biting because she thinks she's hungry, bring snacks, right? Like bring those snacks, have them on board, offer the snacks right away. Go for a run. She might need to run off some steam before she gets in the car, right? Find a place to run off a bit of that steam. And I will say that one of the very best things we can do to try and curb biting behavior and have it not become a regular occurrence is to not react. So let's look at the difference between a reaction, which is something we do in the immediate moment and it's emotionally driven. It's just a quick, immediate emotional response. That's a reaction. Whereas a response is calmer, more thought out, and it consists of a mindful, conscious choice of what to do. Here's where your sense of calm is going to really come into play. So let's just look at a few responses that might help in these situations of biting. Okay. Number 1, move your body or body parts out of reach of that little mouth. You can say, biting hurts. I'm going to move my body away right now so that doesn't happen again. Setting a firm and clear boundary. I want you to watch your tone of voice. Use as calm a tone as possible. But I also don't want you to suppress your feelings. Children, they know if we're faking it. So if it hurt, let them know it hurt. Ouch, that's not okay. That hurt. Be factual rather than hyper or reactionary. Biting hurts. Use I messages. I don't like being bitten. It hurts. Instead of attacking a child's character by saying something like, you are a naughty girl, biting is bad. Those are just attacking. And we want to use those I messages. I don't like it. That doesn't work for me at all. But you can hear in my tone, it's okay for them to know that this is seriously not okay. And I don't want you to go on and on about it. Give the information clearly and definitively, and remove either yourself or the person who's being the biting target out of the way. If it's another child, a sibling or a playmate that's been bitten, quickly swoop in and move the other child away. Ouch, biting hurts. Sally didn't like that. I'm going to pick her up right now and make sure she's okay and that doesn't happen again. And then you pick up that one. A toddler may not really be conscious that or trying to cause pain. They might not be conscious that they are causing you pain. So yes, let them know that it hurt in your tone of voice, in your intensity of your response, but also don't make it too big a response, because then we might add some guilt or some further upset to that child who's already upset and trying to deal with some big emotion or some call for attention or whatever it is in their case. Okay. Anything else there? Does that feel helpful, Serena, from what you're hearing?
It does. And while you were speaking about it, I was going through it. My daughter's not biting, but she's smacking right now. And
Yes,
so
thank you.
when I was going through it, thinking about my daughter, I have to prevent her from even smacking me. So, and I know it usually happens when she's tired,
Yes.
and she's probably like smacking me, like, let's go to bed already. But if
And
I,
she's just losing her equilibrium,
yeah,
right? She's just becoming dysregulated. So we need to catch that before the dysregulation. Yeah, exactly.
she
Go
doesn't
ahead.
have the words to tell me that she's tired or mommy, take me up. It takes
Yes.
me being aware and even just noticing that she usually does it when she is tired. So when she goes to smack me, it's time to go up. And that's my cue.
Right.
We're past
Right.
her
And
threshold.
give her those words, right? Oh, I
Yeah.
see that little hand. I get that you're not feeling 100% your awesome self. We're going to
Mhm.
head upstairs now and get to bed, and just make it a factual thing that's now going to happen. I can't let you hit me. Hitting hurts. Let's get to bed. I'll come with you. So that's perfect, because I wanted to point out that all these skills and tools will be useful with any unwanted behavior, not just biting. And Maureen's question was specifically about her little girl was not letting go of the bite, which must have been so painful. But I want you, listener, to know that I did respond in length to Maureen specifically and addressed her specific situation there. So she got answers for those specifics. But because biting is such a big topic and a hot topic, I wanted to just focus in on that for all of you to get some benefit from it. And like Serena pointed out, it might be slapping you, it might be kicking you, it might be saying nasty words to you. There's different things. And all of those little bunch of tools that I offered you there can help in those situations.
Thank you, Amma.
Yay, you're welcome. And thank you again, Maureen, for writing in. We do appreciate you. And listener, we love you. Thanks for being here.
All right. For this episode's gem, I'm going to read Maureen's response after she had implemented the tools that Amma shared with her, because I think it's really sweet, and she shares some amazing examples of what really worked and how she put them in practice. So Maureen says, my daughter's biting and grabbing has gotten significantly better. In fact, I was talking to my husband and we had to think hard about when the last time was that she bit. Grabbing is still a work in progress. One of the pieces of advice we found the most helpful was about prevention. I have to admit, I feel a little silly that I didn't realize that myself, but I'm getting better at understanding her cues for things she wants. It's still hard sometimes because she is unable to tell me what she wants. But through trial and error, we are figuring it out. Another piece of advice that we found helpful was for me to step in and take her from Daddy and explain to her that I need to keep her and Dad safe. In addition, my husband has been trying not to have big reactions when she bites. He still tells her it hurts, but he isn't being quite as dramatic about it. With diaper changes, we have discovered the magic of stickers. They are an amazing distraction. We also try to explain what we are doing while we are doing it with any daily task that might become challenging. We have found explaining with songs to work particularly well. For example, we sing, "This is the way we wash our hair," or we sing the Hokey Pokey song when putting on her clothes, which works because she puts her arms and legs in. In general, we do a lot more talking through emotions than we did previously. I think I didn't talk to her about that stuff as much before because I didn't think she would understand yet. However, I think she understands more than I realized, or is at least learning to understand what I am trying to explain. Thank you again for your help. I thought that was amazing. I'm so thankful that she took the time out of her day to write back and be so detailed in her response to share what helped. Some things that I just wanted to highlight were things that actually helped me too, because like I said, my 1.5-year-old, she's smacking. I was able to relate during this episode, and some things that I've noticed that have worked for me were prevention and just grabbing her arm before she even is able to smack me. Noticing her cues, like when she's smacking me, she is really tired, or like I mentioned before, my 3-year-old, she just screams at the top of her lungs when she's upset, and it's just scary for me to watch, and it's hard for me to be around. And so she usually gets a big reaction out of me when she does that, and I'm trying not to, because maybe that's her outlet of frustration, or I'd rather her yell, because I notice it is when she's just really upset and probably overstimulated. So I need to just respect that and not have a big reaction to it. Another thing that helps me is talking to them. I'm always talking to my 1.5-year-old, and even somebody mentioned it to me the other day. They're like, I love how she knows what you're saying, because I tell her everything. I ask her to do things, I ask her to help me, and she does them. She's like a little lady that just doesn't answer back to me yet, but I'm sure that will come soon. Explaining what you're doing, I love that. I think it gives them some more autonomy as well when we do that. And then singing, that really helps. Anytime I know I'm about to get into a struggle, I just start getting a little silly and singing. And it's funny because my daughters are loving the Hokey Pokey right now. It's usually our song that we put on when we get in the car after school. So thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, parents, for being here with us. We hope this episode was helpful. If it was, we would truly appreciate if you can go on Apple Podcasts and drop a review. And I just wanted to remind you that this January 2024, we are starting our membership program, and everything will be in our show notes to sign up. But we will be hosting a monthly workshop and an intimate monthly newsletter where I will be sharing the things that are working for me, the things that aren't, and you'll get kind of like what Maureen shared here in detail, what we're going through, what's helping, what's not helping. Hopefully you get inspired. So thank you so much, parents. We love you, and take care.
I want to sing with you. I want to dance with you. I want to laugh with you. Oh, how I love to be with you. I do. I do. Such a short time we've been together.